Hey everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about I don't feel like doing that and why, as I always say, when you have a task at hand, whether that be going towards an exposure, whether that be reading the books on the reading list, getting your life back on track with career, money management, cutting addictions, you have a task. And then the meter starts when you know you have to perform a task. And that meter starts building with procrastination, and then you have action. And your goal is to decrease that gap between the task and when the procrastination builds as quickly and efficiently as you can, whilst taking some level of calculated risk. But most things don't really need a lot of thought process. They need willpower, grit, and repetitive day in, day out action. Phil at OCDRecovery.com. Please come to one of our webinars. They are so much fun. It gives you access to our WhatsApp groups along with coming to a coaching call. We have the holiday packages. You can message Phil about that. Again, that is Phil at OCDRecovery.com. So most things in OCD and anxiety recovery that people ask me do not need an explanation. They need, and don't get me wrong, we go into deep depth and philosophical detail about the core fears and breaking those down with unconditional self-life and other acceptance. But most people need repetitive, consistent action over an extremely long period of time. I have fallen into this mistake many times myself, doing something consistently for 3 weeks to 6 weeks and thinking, why don't I feel better? Why is it more not of a habit? Then you're on the lookout, the internal measuring. Why is it, and you're just, this should be a habit by now. This should be a habit by now. But no, it's because you've only been working on it for 4 weeks. Even when you look at me not watching adult websites, so January 21st will be 3 years since no adult websites, no FAP, and turning a lot of stuff down in my relationship. But before that, I had 15 years of cheating, bad behaviors, compulsion, sexual addictions, just everything you can imagine inside that realm that's not good for you, including bad relationship communication and bad relationship beliefs, which all were fueled together into one big hodgepodge of me just having really bad behaviors and beliefs. So even though I've been almost sober for 3 years from that, I have 15 years the other way. So it's still not even close to time on, time off. You don't need time on, time off in order to get better from that, but it is something to be aware of when you're going about the process. So I know when I was trying to cut my body dysmorphia behaviors and I was going towards them, I was not being realistic about how long this process would take. I just wasn't. You know, what's going on? I haven't done a compulsion in 5 weeks. And my wife would say, you need much more repetitive action. When I read, which I actually will read this book again because it is one of my favorite books, Principles by Ray Dalio. I've read it twice. It is a big book. The books on the reading list are always most important. He's asked, in his opinion, someone who doesn't have a mental health disorder, you know, how long does it usually take for someone to instill a habit over a long period of time? Because you hear stuff where they say, just be repeatable, repetitive, just do that action over and over again, and in 1 month you'll be good. Absolutely fucking horseshit. Most habits take 18 months, Ray Dalio said, and I think that's a very good analysis of how long it takes. For me to get better with some of my food problems, the binging, the not eating, and avoiding, took me about 2 years of complete uncertainty and just eating how I wanted to eat with having breakfast, lunch, and dinner to really get myself to where I am today. 2 years. And there was a lot of ups and downs in that process. I took some things more seriously than others. But you do not need a ton of theory in order to get a lot of your exposures done. Because you're never going to feel ready to perform an exposure. You're never going to feel ready to have sex with your partner during ROCD or POCD thoughts or harm or anything. You're never going to feel ready to start that business. There is no such thing as the right time for the most part. For the most part. Of course, there's exceptions to every rule. I mean, let's say you're having a huge market crash. And, you know, you're like, oh, I want to buy this building at the top of its, let's say you want to buy a commercial building. I know it's a funny example. And it's so overpriced. So there is certain things that the time might not be applicable. But it's far less common than most people think. Like most things that people are dealing with OCD, the right time is right now. And you have to train yourself like a skill, as I say, to decrease that gap between task, maybe a tiny bit of procrastination, and action. And if you do that over and over and over again, you will change your beliefs whilst working on your beliefs as well. But it's really easy to sit down and read the books on the reading list. It's really difficult to make repeatable action over and over and over again when you don't want to do it. So it's not going to be a long video on this one. You really don't need a lot of theory behind this. What you need is, again, and I know it's monotonous and it sounds repetitive, over and over again, just keep on trying no matter what. I cannot tell you how important this is. So Phil at ocdrecovery.com. Please reach out. Do not sit in silence. Some of the upcoming videos I have written down. Where did I have this one? So some of the ones I have coming up are emptiness, how to deal with emptiness sensations. Why am I stuck? I'm going into a deep dive on why you're stuck. You won't recover for a long time, more than likely. It usually takes a couple of years. You can feel better along the process, but to develop unconditional acceptance, it usually takes a couple of years. And staying in a situation, this is a really good topic to cover, staying in a relationship whilst missing out on other possibilities or being confused for your entire relationship. So again, that's Phil at ocdrecovery.com. Hope to hear from you soon. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.